So I'm making some real progress here, and it feels really good to see things changing. Because for the longest time through this process, I just work day in and day out, and there wasn't that much visual change. But now we're getting to the point where it looks different every single day, and that's a big motivator. But while I'm working on this, I was thinking about all the things that I wish someone would have told me when I was like 20. I'm 40, by the way. I'm 40 years old. All the things I wish someone would have told me 20 years ago. And so I just started compiling a list. And I thought maybe this would make a good video, because if I talk to you guys, if we do some role playing here, and you're 20-year-old Colt, and I just tell you what I wish someone would have told me, maybe it'll help someone. So I thought that's what we do. No cuts, no edits. I think we'll see how this goes. The first thing is, and this goes back to when I was in bands and in the studio, I used to think that talent determined your worth, and it does not. Demand determines your worth, not your talent, not your ability. How much someone will pay you to play a show is based upon how many tickets you can sell. How much you can charge to mix a song is based on how many people are lining up to pay you. And you can adjust your rate to slow that down or speed that up. If you're too slow, then lower your rate and you'll get more clients. If you're too expensive, if you're too cheap and you are just flooded and you can't keep up with the work, raise your rate to slow some of that down. Demand determines your worth, not your talent. The next thing is, and this goes for my personal life, my life with my wife, girlfriend back then, well, not even back then, it was years before I met my now wife, professional situations, clients, this goes for everything. Don't hold past relationships' shortcomings over new relationships' heads. I used to be really bad about if someone would burn me or screw me, or if I had a girlfriend cheat on me or whatever. I would hold that over the next people's heads, and I would treat them like they've already done that to some extent. And I think it's really important to approach every new relationship, every new client, and every new relationship in your personal life, friendship, partner, girlfriend, whatever. I think it's really important to approach every new relationship with like a baseline level of trust and respect, and allow that person to take the relationship forward or backwards, depending on how they treat it. Don't hold past relationships over new relationships' heads. Clients are not going to get easier to deal with. I had this image in my mind that once I made it to a certain point, once I was working with nothing but artists that were like full-time touring or, whatever, once I reached whatever X point, that everything would just get easier, that there would be less drama, and that there would be less problems and less disagreements. And that's just not really true, because we're working with humans, and humans are flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. We are all flawed. Absolutely none of us are perfect. And so that never really goes away, because you're going to always have disagreements. And it's more important to focus on how to be a good person and how to handle these disagreements in a productive manner than it is to just try to climb the ladder in hopes that you will no longer have to deal with it. I got that wrong. Think bigger than your hometown. This is something that I was really stuck in. In Peoria, Illinois, I was one of only 2 or 3 people in the whole town that was full-time music, that made their living from music. And I just thought, and I was feeling topped out for a long time. I was feeling like there wasn't much room to go for a long time. And I just thought that the likelihood of me being able to get back to making a living solely from music in any other town would be very difficult. I didn't think I would have the energy to put into getting there again. And because of this, I was very small-minded. And I only looked at my own town. There's 120,000 people there. There's, I don't know, maybe 250,000 people in like the whole greater Peoria area. But think bigger than your hometown. Your hometown should not be your end goal. And you should be open-minded enough to look at other cities, because moving here to Nashville was the best thing I ever did for my career. One of the better things I've ever done for my life, but definitely the best thing I've ever done for my career, for sure. Build it and they will come is actually a flawed strategy. When I was in Peoria, I built physically the biggest studio between Chicago and St. Louis. There were no studios bigger than mine. And I think it looked really good. And, you know, I had a professional photographer come in and take photos. And I just kind of thought that if I just built the coolest looking studio and if I just put a Pro Tools HD system in and I just had a nice console, that I would get clients. And that mindset, that build it and they will come mindset, is a flawed mindset. Because the way you get new clients is by word of mouth, but it's by how many people you're in front of. That's the metric that matters. How many people can you place yourself in front of? How many people know about you? How many people know what you do? Because only a small percentage of people that actually know you and know what you do will actually hire you. So the people that know who you are and know what you do has to be a big enough number. The quantity has to be large enough that if the small percentage of those people that will hire you is enough to pay your bills and enough to keep you busy. So the build it and they will come is not something that I would bank on real hard. Build it, for sure build it, but understand that that's not the only thing that matters. You have to get yourself in front of people. And the last thing is spend money once. Don't spend money on something to get by, in most cases. You will be further ahead in the long run. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road, you will be far further ahead if you save up once for the thing that you actually want, instead of this thing it's close enough. Save up for the real thing, if it's an important piece of gear. Not every piece of gear has to be the very top shelf thing. I've discussed this in other videos. You know, I don't think you need to run vintage U67s on drum rooms. But for the key things, for your vocal signal chain, for, you know, your preamps, for the stuff that really matters, spend money once. I played through a Bogner Ecstasy when I was 17. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is the holy grail tone. But I couldn't afford it because it was way too much money. I think it was like $5,000 or $6,000 for the half stack. And I worked at a music store that didn't carry Bogner. And for the next 4 or 5 years, I bought and sold and traded 20 different amps, just trying to get to that tone. And I never got there. And eventually the store I worked at became a Bogner dealer. And when we got our first Ecstasy in, I traded like 3 amps on it. And what I realized, I was like 24 when this happened. And what I realized at the age of 24 is that I lost more money buying and selling, trying to get something comparable, than it even cost to just buy the thing to begin with. So, spend money once. Hope this helped you. There's links down below for every piece of gear that I use. Those links go to Sweetwater. Anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any one of the links in the description, and once you're on the site, you can purchase anything that you need. And when you do that, it goes a long ways to help support this channel, help me keep making videos just like this. So thank you guys for using those links when you need to buy anything. Thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video. All right, I get back to work on this. It's getting really close, and I'm getting really excited. See you guys in the next one. Peace.